my channel. Welcome to my channel. Joy Forge adjoined our house, which was a wooden house, as many of the dwelling in our country were most of them at that time. When I ran home from the churchyard, the fog was shut up, and Joy was sitting alone in the kitchen. Joy and I being fellow sufferers and having confidences as such, Joy imparted a confidence to me. The moment I raised the latch of the door and peeped in at him opposite to it, sitting in the chimney corner, Mrs. Joy has been out a dozen times looking for you, Pip, and she is not out, making it is a baker dozen. Is she? Yes, Pip, said Joy, and what worse she got, declared with her. At the dismal intelligence, I visited the only button on my waistcoat, round and round, and looked in great depression at the fire. Tickler was a wax-ended piece of cane, worn smooth by collision with my tickler frame. She sat down, said Joy, and she got up, and she made a grab a tickler, and she rampaged out. That's what she did, said Joy slowly, clearing the fire between. She sat down, said Joy, and she got up, and she made a grab at tickler, and she rampaged out. That what she did, said Joy slowly, clearing the fire between the lower bars with the poker, and looking at it, she rampaged out. Pip. She been gone alone, Joy. I always treated him as a larger species of child, and as no more than my equal. Well, said Joy, glancing up at the ditch clock. She's been on the rampage this last spell, about 5 minutes. Pip, she is a coming. Get behind the door, old chap, and have the jack towel betwixt you. I took the advice my sister, Mrs. Joy, throwing the doctor wide open, and finding an obstruction behind it, immediately driven the cause and applied tickler to it further investigation. She concluded by throwing me. I often served as a cubical missile at Joy, who had glad to get hold of me on any terms, passed me on into the chimney, and quickly fenced me up there with his great leg. Where have you been, you young monkey? Said Mrs. Joyce, stamping her foot. Tell me directly what you have been doing to wear me away with fright and worried, or I'd have you out of that corner if you was 50 pips and he was 500 Gargeries. I have only been to the churchyard, said I up from my stool, crying the rubbing myself. Churchyard, repeated my sister. If it were not for me, you could have been to the churchyard long ago and stayed there. Who brought you up by hand? You did, said I. And why did I do it? I should like to know, exclaimed my sister. I was whimpered. I do not know. I do not, said my sister. I do not never to do it again. I know that. I may truly say I have never had his a prawn of mine of since born you were. It's bad enough to be a blacksmith wife and him a Gargery without being your mother. My thoughts strayed from that question as I looked disconsolately at the fire, for the fugitive out of the marshes with the errant leg, the mysterious young man, the file, the food, and the dreadful plague I was under to commit larceny on those sheltering premises rose before me in the evening calls. Ha! Said Mrs. Joy, restoring Tickler to his station. Churchyard, indeed. You may well say churchyard, you too. One of us, by the by. had not said it to all. You all drive me to the churchyard betwixt you of these days, and oh, a propitious pair you do be without me, as the applied herself to set the tea things. Joy peeped down at me over his leg, as he were mentally casting me trickily should make under the grievous circumstances foreshadowed. After that, he sat feeling his right side, flaxen curls and whiskers, and following Mrs. Joy about with his blue eyes, as his manner always was equally times. My sister had a trenchant way of cutting our bread and butter for us that never worried. First with her